This is Shayon from SIMPLEX, and today I'm going to talk about the Freedom 251 smartphone. So, what does this smartphone essentially do? This smartphone is a smartphone that is meant for the mass, or that is what the company says, ringing bells. Yes, that's the name of the company who are making this smartphone. And before I get into the details of this smartphone, let the intro roll. Now here we are talking about a $4 smartphone, or essentially a 251 rupees smartphone, guys. And 251 in Indian currency is pretty cheap. And given that the cheapest smartphones that are available with similar specs is at least 3,000 rupees to 4,000 rupees. I mean, I'm talking about the cheapest of the cheap smartphones out there. So how did they manage to do this? But before I get into that, let's go through the specifications of the smartphone once. This smartphone has a 1.3 GHz quad-core CPU. Now, I don't know the make of the CPU or the model number of the CPU, so I really cannot comment about performance until I see it, with my own eyes. But a quad-core CPU with 1.3 gigs, you should get some pretty decent performance, guys, especially for the price. Remember, $4 or 251 rupees. Going ahead, it's got 1 GB RAM. Again, decent specs. 8 GB internal memory, 4-inch IPS display. Now, IPS displays obviously will have better picture quality than a normal LCD display, TFT display. So yeah, IPS display, again, kudos to ringing bells. It's got a Quarter HD panel, so essentially it's 540 to 960, a small QHD. And this is called Quarter HD because it's 1/4 of the HD resolution. But at 4-inch, the pixel density will be pretty high, and again, given the price, the important part, guys, the price, 251 rupees, it should be stellar for its price. It's got dual SIM options, so they say that the market segment at which it is targeted at, the people at that segment of the market needs dual SIM, so they went with that. It's got a 3.2 megapixel rear camera. I have to see the quality of the camera myself, but I'll probably be happy with anything at this price range. 0.3 megapixels front camera, again a VGA camera, so it should be decent. It's got 3G, Wi-Fi and GPS, so the basics are covered by the smartphone. It's got Bluetooth radio too, so you'll be able to transfer songs, pictures and whatever else you want to transfer. Yeah, so basically you'll be able to transfer files with Bluetooth. Good. FM radio. Yeah, again, something that the smartphones of the flagship segment these days omit out, because they say internet radio is all the rage these days. But again, at this price range, the market segment at which it is targeted at, I guess not everyone, some of us still listen to radio, right? So FM radio is there in this smartphone. Now lastly, the battery, it's got 1450 milliamp hour battery, and the display size is pretty small. The pixel density or the resolution of the display, given the screen size, is also pretty less. So the number of pixels being powered by this smartphone is less compared to most of the smartphones out there. So I think 1450 milliamp hour battery should make the cut for this device. But having said this, the specifications, you just heard about it, right? How much will a smartphone at this current market scenario with similar specs cost? In Indian currency, it is at least 3,000 rupees, say north of $40, north of 40 US dollars. So how did they manage to make it so cheap? Now, just the manufacturing cost of this smartphone is set to be at around rupees 2,700, or that is what the speculation is right now. So that is around 40 US dollars, right? So the obvious question is, how did they manage to make it so cheap? Now, there can be a number of reasons. The first one, obviously, probably it is subsidized, right? The second one is probably, I was watching a television interview of the company executives yesterday, and what they were saying is that they are right now targeting to capture market share. So something what OnePlus did with their aggressive marketing campaign and their aggressive pricing. But again, this is a new territory altogether, $4, right? And the third thing is that once they capture that market share, they're probably going to launch smartphones with a little bit, that'll be a little costlier than this. That's what I'm trying to say. So probably that's their aim. Having said that, the interest that these guys generated is insane. Now, here is a graph for you guys. Check it out, guys. This graph has a blue line, green, red, and yellow lines. So there are 4 lines. The yellow signifies the interest generated by the Kardashians. The red is the interest generated by Apple. The green is the interest generated by Samsung. Now, this chart is directly off Google Trends. So, what is the blue line all about, guys? And you'll probably be able to understand that it has a pattern based on their server timings. Now, why do I say that? Firstly, the blue line is Freedom 251, guys. Check it out. Yesterday at 8 a.m. it was peaking. Yeah, by yesterday I mean 18th February. They launched on 18th February 6 a.m. So I launched this video on 19th, so I said yesterday. Anyway, it comes down because the server crashes and the servers weren't ready to, handle the load. And they said we were generating 6 lakh or 600,000 hits per second. 600,000, guys. Now, if you come down, what you will see is once the Indians sleep, the IST timings, this is the IST, so once we sleep, it comes down. The interest generated comes down really, it goes really below even the Kardashian level. Again, people have started searching for this smartphone from nearly 4 a.m. in the morning, and it goes on peaking till nearly 6 a.m. So yes, this smartphone has generated quite a lot of interest, and I guess ringing bells, the company is successful at their marketing campaign. So if you guys really want this smartphone, go ahead to freedom251buy.com or just Google Freedom251 and you'll see the link. Go there and buy the smartphone from there, but you really have to be lucky to buy the smartphone because their servers are really wonky right now and they probably weren't ready to handle the kind of load that they generated. So best of luck if you want this smartphone. And that's it, guys. So Freedom 251, is it worth buying? Absolutely. For $4, from a purely technical point of view, absolutely it's worth buying, because you see it says $4 and at 251 rupees you cannot get anything less than this. And probably they are also mentioning that you have service centers throughout the country in India. I mean, would you really want a service center for this phone? Obviously you will, but think of it. For servicing a normal phone you have to spend more than 300 rupees and this smartphone costs 251 rupees. So yeah, anyway, go ahead and buy it. It's available till 21st, like I already said. We have an interesting giveaway going, and the next prize is a Xiaomi Mi band that will be given as soon as we hit 750 subscribers. Click on the I and get started, guys. Thank you. Over and out.